Hello again. This lecture will run through the SiteModel component of Assessment 2, Early Ideas, 20% due in week 4. This is the third component of the assessment. So what is the SiteModel? The SiteModel is a three-dimensional model of the surrounding site, the existing surrounding site. Where will you put this in your presentation in week 4? So the idea is that this will be on an A3 plinth or a board, and that you'll be able to sit it onto your table, and that you will then be able to get some of your building models here with your design proposals, and you'll be able to put those into the site model. The site model has two parts, and this is really important to remember. So one is, as you can see here, shaded in red, the existing building with your design proposals, right? So they're the 6 building models that you've done where you had the interior volume ideas and then the exterior volume ideas, forming 6 models. This component should be able to move in and move out of the model. The fixed component of the model is the A3 board that has the surrounding site context. And I'll run through in a second what the surrounding site context is. In terms of how much of the context to show and where you should show, the dashed red line here on the screen gives you an indication. So I don't want the model to be any bigger than A3, and that just makes it easy in terms of getting a plinth that's kind of a standard size. You should be showing, as you can see here, some of the footpath and road here, given that that's a part of the site that we're looking at, some of the garage, the adjacent tobacconist, and the adjacent property. So if you can get those 4 components into your model, that's important because they all impact upon the building and the way that you'll create design proposals in the building. Okay, so again, I guess recapping, the idea is that the surrounding context of the site is fixed, but that your 6 building models can easily move in and out of the site model so that you can see them in context. Again, this project is very much about understanding the 3 facets of the brief, and one of those is site and site context. So views, sunlight, surrounding form, and the way that all of those aspects impact upon your design proposal. How much detail do you need to show? I think this image here gives a fairly good indication of the level of detail. So for the surrounding site context, if you have a look up here at point 1, really what we're looking at are massed blocks. So what does a massed block mean? Really, it just means that you want to be able to get the length and the width of the surrounding building right, as well as the height. So you kind of want to give it a general sense of the volume or the form. We definitely don't need to be showing windows, decorative banding, materiality. As this model here shows in the white, the surrounding context is really just a capture of form and scale, surrounding form and scale. Surrounding context, we do definitely want to show floor levels, so it's not just about buildings, particularly because you're looking at the sidewalk for your urban intervention. So we definitely want to show the building, the surrounding buildings, the footpath, and the way the footpath then steps down into the road, so the curb or the gutter. In terms of your building, this needs to be in a greater amount of detail. So we definitely want to be showing the length and the width and the height, as well as the correct slopes of the roof, existing windows and existing doors, all in response to your design proposal. Now we know that your design proposal is not that detailed right now. Your design proposal is just a volume really, or your series of design proposals. That's fine for the time being. You don't need any further detail than that. Here are some more examples of the level of detail that you need to show for the site models. So you can see in the top image here that trees are shown, surrounding buildings really are just blocks. If you want to put a little bit more detail in, you can show kind of windows, but again, it's not what we're asking for. Whereas your building has a bit more detail, as you can see here. This example and this example here also kind of show you how you might model trees, as well as how you might differentiate between the surrounding context, which you can see here, and your building. And so you can see in this example that what they've done is used a different material, and that might be something that you'd like to try. Be really considerate about the material you use and the way that you model from a visual communication perspective. And then finally, the plinth. So a plinth is essentially a sturdy base that you can secure your model onto. It helps from a logistical perspective in terms of carrying it on the bus or the train or in the car or in wind when you're walking up the university promenade. And it also kind of helps to present it. Your plinth might be made, as you can see here, of card, a piece of thick card or a card box. It might be made here out of timber, if that's what your model is made out of. It might be made, as you can see here, out of MDF, here out of ply. These examples also show that it can kind of be a rectilinear form, but as you can see here, it might also kind of cut around the surrounding site context in a less rectilinear way, and I'm fine with that.